Hi, my name's Ilma, and today I'd like to share Ephesians 5 1-5. Therefore, be imitators of God as beloved children, and walk in love, just as Christ also loved you and gave himself up for us, an offering and a sacrifice to God as a fragrant aroma. But sexual immorality or any impurity or greed must not even be mentioned among you, as is proper among saints. And there must be no filthiness or foolish talk or vulgar joking, which are not fitting but rather giving of thanks. For this you know with certainty that no sexually immoral or impure or greedy person, which amounts to an idolater, has an inheritance in the kingdom of Christ and God. Ephesians 5 1-5. Here's my devotional. Imitate Christ and walk in love. In this chapter, Paul gives us a clear guideline how to be imitators of Christ and how to walk in love. Paul was appointed by Christ himself even though he wasn't one of the original 12 apostles, meaning he was also spirit-led and anointed to have the revelations that the other apostles were given. I think that his guidelines for imitating Christ resonates all the revelation we get from the disciple whom Jesus loved, who is John. John mostly focused his writing on love, so his gospel would be so close to Paul's guidelines to walk in love. In 1 John 4:8, we know that God is love, and in 1 John 4:7, it also says that whoever loves has been born of God and knows God. And Paul said to the Romans in verse 5:8 that God shows his love for us in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. In 1 John 4:19, John says that we love because he first loved us. And in 1 John 4:7, we are asked to love one another, for love is from God. And whoever loves has been born of God and knows God. It is no wonder why Paul gives us these pointers so we can be like Christ and be a fragrant aroma and a sacrifice to God. Paul warns the Ephesians that sexual immorality or any impurity or greed must never be a part of their lives, nor any kind of rubbish talk. Only thanksgiving must be spoken. Paul labels sexual immorality, impurity, and greed as idolatry, and anyone who engages in these acts will have no place in God's kingdom. These words of wisdom are clear-cut ways so believers can ensure walking in the Spirit and in love. How many of us keep watch over these acts of idolatry? The world is full of corruption, and many of our churches are already infiltrated by false teachings and doctrines. We need to heed Paul's advice to watch for these things that are not pleasing aroma to God. Reflection. Why is it very hard to imitate Christ and walk in love in this corrupt world? Well, one thing for sure, we don't see spirits, and so we are very visual people, and it's very hard for us to follow something we don't see. So I think the limit of our minds hinder us from growing our faith, from actually believing what we don't see, because that's what faith means. So, and also the fact that the prince of this world is Satan, and since we live in this, and yet if we are believers, we are not to follow all the ways of the world. And that is almost impossible if you think of it in the perspective of man, and which is true too, because the only way we can walk in love and imitate Christ in this world is by abiding in him, because it is him doing it, not us. So I encourage you to study Jesus, because the only way you can imitate him is by studying him. If you don't know who he is, how can you imitate him? So it's important that you imitate Him. And by the time that you will imitate Him and know Him, then you will be able to walk in perfect love, in the true love that is so corrupted by the world. Because the love that the world offers is not the same love as God offers. So I encourage you to walk in love and imitate Christ. Thanks for watching. I hope you check my website at ilma'S.com for artworks and photographs. And I hope you subscribe to my channel on YouTube so I could make more videos for God. We love you.